Queen. What is
Greetings.
playing for us in the living room?
Today we are listening to Invitation by Amber Hairston, which will be on her upcoming EP. So shout out to Amber Hairston and her angelic voice by giving us the little scoopity scoop for that upcoming
Come
EP.
on, Scoop.
Invitation is such a beautiful song. I just keep singing that first line. 2 a.m. and I can't sing, but you know, God gives people the talents and He taketh the talents from others. So sorry to y'all who had to hear that.
No, that's right. It's good. I love the beat. I'm sorry, I have to say that because of Sheree, but also her vocals sound really, really good. I love how someone's voice sounds on a particular track. I feel like that's what has always been my attraction to Nicki Minaj. I just think her voice just sounds good on any kind of beat, any kind of track. But yes, shout out to Amber. This song is amazing. Glad we got the exclusive.
Amber. It is a good time, Amber, my angel. I know that she writes songs, and I think she writes for other people too. But if y'all don't know, if you like music, if you sing, if you write, whatever, hit up Amber. She's on top of being an amazing artist, she is a beautiful person inside and out, and she's always willing to help people and love on people and spread positive energy. I remember one time, I don't know if I've ever shared this, but I think it was when I was talking about my move or a specific job that I wanted, in a role that I wanted or something. And Amber had this manifestation notebook, and she wrote down specifically what I wanted, and she prayed over it like every day. And then when I got it, I was just like, oh my God. Or when I moved, I forgot exactly what it was, but I just remember being like, I don't think I've ever had anybody pray over my goals before. That was like the wildest and most, I think, intimate act I felt like somebody could do for you, and that's like help you manifest your dreams. That was so wild to me, and I will literally never forget it. Thank you, Amber, for being a beautiful human on top of a beautiful artist.
I know that's right. That is an amazing story. That is a very beautiful thing to do for people. So yeah, shout out to her for that, and like you said, for being an amazing artist, an amazing human being, and writing songs. That's super dope. A gift, a talent. Y'all, just want y'all to know how much we love you. We have restarted recording this episode now for the third time. We got to 20 minutes both times, and here we are,
and had to restart. We actually started this process 2 hours ago.
So we have already recorded an episode and a third, and now we're about to do a start from the scratch again. So we just want you to know we love you dearly. We want you to get this content, and that is all right. We are here. We are happy. We are happy to have you back in our living rooms. We are happy to be back off vacation into our living room. Hell yeah. So here we go.
If we will, let's unpack that.
I know that's right. Pun intended.
Wow. Now I see why you want me to do stand up. Yeah, let's unpack that trip we went on. And whenever you're listening to this, no matter when it is, if it's even September of next year, as soon as you hear this, I want y'all to send Sid a message that says happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy 20 great years of life. 28th birthday. It was a pleasure to spend that time with you in El Paso, Queens. So make sure y'all tell my best friend happy birthday, y'all's favorite host, the brains of this here podcast, if you will.
Get that in, didn't you?
Tell her happy birthday. And Sid, where do we go on our trip? What do we do? And what was your 3 favorite moments?
Y'all, we went to El Paso, Texas, and yes, before you ask, I chose El Paso, Texas because I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is a city. Okay, I see the city things all the time, the skyscrapers and whatnot. I wanted something different. I was like, give me water, give me sand, give me air, give me the things, you know what I mean? So I chose El Paso. I had wanted originally to lock my friends into a house for 3 days, and we just parlayed together because if you know me, you know I have been in the house. Like, I don't know if anybody has been, I'm sure someone has been more in the house than me, but I don't think of my friends, anybody has been more in the house than me.
No.
Over the last, coming up on 3 years. And so this was the first time I had traveled, first time I had been on a plane, in 3 years. Excuse me, not the first time I traveled. Any other time I went by car, because I did go to New Orleans twice last year, but we drove both times. And so I was like, okay, yeah, so we're gonna go be locked in the house. And so it really didn't matter. I didn't want to choose somewhere that had a whole bunch of things to offer outside because I didn't want us to feel like we were missing out on anything. So that was part of it. But then also I just wanted the views, and my God, did I get them. I just got my film photos back today, and I'm just looking at like our mountain views from our first Airbnb. The Airbnbs we stayed in were super cute. do amazing. So we went to El Paso. That was our location. We did lots of things, but I will give you my top 3 because we could talk about it for hours. I'm so happy that everybody had such a good time to the point they could talk about it for hours. But my top 3 moments were definitely surprising Aisha with skydiving. She's wanted to go for many, many years now. And so we were able to pull that off. I literally, every text I sent, I was like, all right, y'all, don't forget to pack such and such, and, you know, get your deposits, and don't remember not to tell Aisha because it's a surprise. So that was, she started crying.
Yeah, they drove me down a dirt road and told me to put on blindfolds. Mind you, they told me we were going skydiving. They told me we were going hiking. So why we're driving down a dirt road and they're telling me to put on blindfolds when we're supposed to go hiking, I was not understanding. And then furthermore, I noticed there was only one blindfold. So I was like, nah, y'all got me fucked up. I'm not putting on no goddamn blindfold and being driven in a minivan down a dirt road. What kind of scary movie bullshit you think I'm about to partake in? And it turns out we pulled up to a sign that said El Paso Skydive. So then I thought, oh, Sydney knows how bad I want to skydive. She brought me to watch people skydive. That is so sweet of her.
Which I think is torturous.
But she brought me to skydive. And it's funny because, like, one of the first phone calls I got that morning, they were like, hey, what are you doing? I said, oh, I just jumped out of an airplane. They were like, what? Did you plan to do that? And I said, no. This is just what I woke up to this morning, jumping out of an airplane, which was the best time of my life. So thank you, Sid, for being the human that you are and the spirit that you are, that you wanted to surprise me on your birthday and your birthday trip to do something that I've wanted to do for years. That's top tier, unmatched friendship. Wow.
Yeah, that brought me a lot of happiness because I didn't even realize how long you had wanted to do it. I just remember being like, I'm gonna take you skydiving because you want to go skydiving, and I'm down to try it. You know, I mean, it seems like a really cool thing to do. And then Will Smith talked about it, and I'd heard his speech about it so many times, so I was excited to do it. But yeah, seeing the look on your face and the tears coming out of your eyes, and hearing all the conversations you had with everybody you had called, like, oh my God, I'm about to jump out of a plane, I got surprised, oh my God, I'm so excited, and then hearing you saying like, it's the best thing I've ever done, or the funnest thing I've ever done, like, that definitely made my heart smile. So I was super happy about that. And then my second favorite thing is we stayed in a super dope Airbnb for the main part of the trip. The trip was originally supposed to be 3 days, so just a weekend trip, Friday to Sunday, but we ended up extending it, so we stayed in a lot of Airbnbs, and it was its own struggle and situation and its own another thing that made this trip. You know, we'll never do that again. But we stayed in this super cool Airbnb, and on one of the nights we shout out to Xavier for going to the store and helping me to facilitate creating this space, because he was a major part of being like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy them because I'm in the moment, let's just have a good time, you want them, so we're gonna get them. So we went and got Nerf guns, and we were just shooting at targets that we had set up around the house, like on the staircase and shit like that. That was fun. And then we started shooting at each other, and I got shot in the head and pretended to die. That was fun, brought the girls some laughs. Sid
took her war game very seriously. Okay, she really gave a valiant effort, Oscar winning performance, if you will.
Which you will see also, guys. Tune into my story this week. I will be giving y'all a 4-part or 5-part mini series of this trip. I will give y'all all of the inside things. This is definitely one of them times. This is probably the second time. The other time being when I graduated from ECU. This is the second time I wish I would have had like a full camera crew record this, because it was just iconic. And so just to wrap it up, the first 2 are very authentic. The third one, I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. The first 2 are for sure my favorite 2 moments. The third one, you know, there might be something that I like better that I'm just not thinking of right now, but I don't want to take up too much time. The third one would be the sand dune part of we went UTVing. And had never done that before. Like, I love just having new experiences. So like, we had game night. I had never played Twister before, so that was fun. But we went sand duning, and I literally was driving, and I was like, I am Will Smith. Like, I am in Dubai right now. Like, all you could see was where the orange sand met the blue sky, and it was just, it felt like, I remember going up on one of the like sand dunes and being like, oh my God, it feels like I can kiss the sun. Like, this is just, it was just amazing. And then there was a part where like the Aisha and Diamond and Kira were in one line, and it was us and our instructor, if you will, or like our driver, our leader, and then me and Xavier, and I could see y'all, and I was like, yo, I'm in Mad Fury. I'm in Mad Max right now. Like, we are, like, I was like, I know he said we can't race, but bitch, I am racing. So
yeah, it
was a great time. But yes, those are my top 3 favorite moments. Queen, what were your top 3 favorite moments from the trip?
Oh my gosh, top 3. Definitely skydiving. Oh, and then Sid, we had a microphone night is what I'll call it, because it encompasses two of my funnest moments. And they were karaoke, which we did a round where everybody chose whatever song they wanted. And then we did another round where everyone chose a Disney song. And if you know me, you know I got my whole life. Because first and foremost, I am Beyonce. I am Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter II. And if you put me in karaoke at any time in my life, I will prevail. I will win. I will seek victory. I love karaoke. It's my favorite thing in the world. And then, of course, Disney songs. I wanted to fuck y'all up with some Phil Collins, but I didn't. But just know, I was this close to giving you that Tarzan Phil Collins, but I spared you all. I let you live. Oh, no, that's right. And did the Little Mermaid and some Cheetah Girls instead. But with that being said, karaoke was great. The second part of microphone night, if you will, we did stand-up. We did, Sydney just jumped up in the middle of our card game and goes, okay, we're doing stand-up. Everyone has to go for 5 minutes straight, and I'm going to start right now. Literally no time to prepare, write anything, think about anything. Just threw people on a quote-unquote stage with a microphone and made us all embarrass ourselves and get secondhand embarrassment from each other. But it was honestly a wonderful time. It was so funny, and it was so funny to hear everybody up on stage with their am I right? You know what I mean? That's I feel like that's go-to stand-up comedy lingo, jargon, if you will, because it just instantly makes things funny, and I don't know why.
Xavier had me crying. I think he started the am I right? I could be wrong.
Y'all are fools. It was a great time. I have to say, out of everyone, who was my fave? Kira did have me out, but Kira had me out because I had heard the stories before. I think I heard them in real time, so it was extra funny to me to hear my good sis be shook, which we cannot post any of our videos because, wow, Kira's story cannot be released to the public. My stand-up was about my mama's pussy, so sorry, cousins, if you're listening to this, please don't tell anyone in the fam bam, but I talked about mama's puss. Yeah, what a good time. And then thirdly, my last and probably above all favorite, because it's something I never thought I would do, the Queen, Sid, and I have matching tattoos.
Yes, we do.
My first ever matching tattoo with anyone. Probably first tattoo I've ever gotten that I didn't think about for a long time. Just did it. And we have 4440 tatted on our hands, so... Yeah. A mixture of angel numbers / our address / name of our business and podcast together. And we actually went to get stencils just to walk around with to see how we liked it or placement or size, and ended up leaving with said permanent as fuck tattoo. So.
And I think I like it better that way. Like, I think there is something very special about saying, oh, we're just going to go get stencils. But then the vibe, like, and Aisha mentioned this the second and first time we recorded this podcast, the vibe there was just super dope. He was a super amazing artist. So, again, if you're ever in El Paso, first of all, go skydiving in El Paso if you ever find yourself in El Paso.
Go skydiving on Bad Kitty at El Paso Skydive. My instructor's name was Chris. He was awesome, sauceum.
Yes, I think my instructor's name was Alex. Am I tripping?
That was our tattoo artist. I don't think that was your
Alex is the tattoo artist. Sorry, completely forgot what he has, but he has a very distinct walk. And he has a very distinct
voice. If you've ever seen Daddy Daycare, he's the guy that did Star Trek. That's who he reminded me of. The Star Trek voice, and was in love with that really pretty, ambiguous blackish girl on the movie.
He's Mexican. He told me that while we were down there. So just look for the distinctly walking Mexican man who has the voice from Daddy Daycare. He has
a giant wiener. So if you see someone who walks like they got that thing, and that was probably Sydney's instructor. And mine was a tall, slim guy named Chris.
Yes, please go to El Paso because that plane was just the best thing I'd ever seen in my life.
It looked like Joe Exotic, his whole show ate an airplane. It was great.
as I said also on the first and second time we recorded this podcast, I didn't do much research about El Paso, so I'm glad it actually ended up looking like I thought it would look. I just picked it and was like, it's giving desert. So, and it gave desert. It gave us mountains. It gave us blue skies. It gave us cold. But it also gave us, like, so going back to El Paso skydiving, I didn't really look that up because I think it was the only one in the area anyway. So I don't think I paid the plane too much attention. So when we got there, I was like, oh my God, this plane is dope as fuck. So couldn't have beat that. And again, couldn't have beat the experience with the instructors. They were super nice, super knowledgeable. And then now back to the tattoo experience. The shop was dope. He was vegan. He gave us all the vegan things, where to go, where to eat. He had great energy. He was a great artist. He specialized in dainty tattoos. So, and like Aisha was saying, it was just perfect timing because we had pulled up to 2 tattoo parlors before we actually ended up at that one. And the first one was closed. The second one, I think, was also closed, or at least I think you had to call and get an appointment or something like that. And so literally she just calls Tomfoolery. So if you're ever in El Paso, go to Tomfoolery. If you're ever in El Paso and you need a tattoo, if you're ever in El Paso and you need a dainty tattoo, go see Alex at Tomfoolery, because he was like, yeah, I'm normally booked up, but somebody just called and canceled for 12 o'clock. And then, like we said, we were just supposed to go in against stencils. So we were like, man, shit, we're here. Because, I mean, honestly, I think if we had left, we would not have been able to get tattoos from him. Like, he would have been, oh, maybe the next day, I think. We might have been able to get to, but it was an amazing experience. As I told Aisha, I have waited a lifetime to love somebody enough to get a matching tattoo and to feel loved enough to get a matching tattoo with someone. So I couldn't have asked for a better person to get a matching tattoo with.
That sentence literally took me out. So Cindy wrote that to me in a text message, and I cried like a baby because you waited a lifetime for me. She said I waited a lifetime to love you or find this love, and it took me down. It took me down. Y'all know I'm a simp. Y'all know I'm a baby. So Sydney took me out with that one because I was like, wow, truly can't imagine somebody better to get my first matching tattoo with. And likely only matching tattoo because, you know, I'm still an actress. I'm still a model. I don't want to be covered in tattoos for that specific reason because you got to cover them up with makeup, and it is actually quite the hassle. But so much gratitude that I have this with you, Sid. I have always said that I think it's weird when people like tattoo people's names and faces or whatever's after they pass because they like, if you ask somebody right now, like, hey, would you, I don't know, tattoo your best friend's name or whatever, people like, no, like, what if we fall out? Or your boyfriend, like, no, what if we fall out or whatever? But then if they die, they're like, okay, well, now I will, because they don't have a chance to piss me off before they die because they're already dead now. You know, it's like, seems so strange. Like, I got my dad's name tattooed when, you know, he was very much so alive and here to see it. And even though my dad is not a tattoo fan, my dad is my best friend, so I know he was very happy to have that. So it's like, wow, now I have something of 2 of my best friends, and that's, you know, my dad and my best friend Sid. So this tattoo means so much to me, and I'm very grateful that I got to have it with you, that we got to have a day to ourselves in El Paso. That was really just good for us because we don't get to see each other a lot. And when I would come home to Charlotte, I still didn't get to see you a lot, especially in the beginning of the pandemic, because Sydney had me sitting on the other side of the world with a whole PPP set on, far away from her, in her yard, outside, and downwind, because she was not playing any of the games. So I'm definitely grateful that we've gotten to this point where we got to actually spend time together. You got to get on a plane, and we got to have a whole day together. And I appreciate that. And back to skydiving real quick, y'all. If you didn't know, you can skydive with your tits out, which I shall do. So, I don't know if it'll be back in El Paso. Maybe I probably can't do it in Dubai. They'll probably chop my tits off, right? I don't know. Wherever else I can go that I can skydive with my tits out, I'm going to do that because I just feel like it's an experience I should have in my life. And where I thought I was crossing something off my bucket list, I gained something else to do on said bucket list. So
we might need to go to Michigan. I mean, I'm sure there are other really beautiful places. Oh, probably Utah would be really gorgeous to skydive over.
Oh, yeah. You know, I love a big open plain situation. I also really want to do like a helicopter ride, but over like a city. Because I just feel like drone type views of like a city is just so gorgeous and cool, you know. I think that would be a good time. But with that being said, I'll probably have my shirt on when I helicopter ride because that's not necessarily exciting. But definitely taking my tits out for the next time I skydive. So looking forward to that.
To definitely go to Michigan. Like if anybody is a skydiver that listens to our podcast or wants a skydiver, you just happen to find yourself in Michigan. He said that it's a beautiful place. I think he said something Haven.
Flag on the play, Sid. I don't know if I'll be able to skydive with my tits out in Michigan because Michigan is a typically cold state, and I don't know how warm it gets in the summertime. But as we found out, Sid, heat does not necessarily rise in the atmosphere. So it would be mighty, mighty cold on Manip girls.
Okay. We might as well tell the people.
In Michigan.
We might as well
So
tell
maybe
the people.
I'll have to go back to El Paso, but like in the summertime.
Absolutely. Well, it'll be 100 and something degrees for sure. But he said there's no humidity though. But just so y'all know, just to give y'all a quick inside joke, really, really quick. I was under the impression that heat rises. Like, you know, when you think about a tub, like if you ever ran your tub water too cold or something and then you run hot water over top, like you can kind of feel the gradation of temperature change, you know, from hot on the top to cold at the bottom. So I was like, oh, it's cold here in El Paso. Like, I think the fucking entire time we were there was like 50 degrees and between 50 and 20 degrees. But it, like, even our first Airbnb host was like, yeah, it's barely ever cold in El Paso. Like literally 4 days out the year. And I'm like, great, because we're only going to be here for 5. And it literally warmed up on the last day that we were there. But nonetheless, I was telling Kira, I was like, girl, it's fine. It's cold down here, but you know, it's going to get warmer up in the sky because hot air floats to the top and the cold air is down at the bottom. Mind you, after we get out of the plane and we're back on the ground, one of the instructors is like, yeah, you lose 2 degrees for every 1,000 feet, which means, and he said Celsius, y'all. So we jumped at 10,500 feet, which means we lost 20 degrees Celsius, which I would imagine is more like 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So basically we jumped in almost somewhere between 0 and 10 degrees in the sky. And my friend got her face blown off.
Oh yes, my toes, my fingers, my nose. First of all, when I landed, my nose was red for like 2 hours. It would just not warm up. It was so cold.
And it's so funny because I guess I'm really thankful that I can like zero in on one thing, because I cannot say that my hands or my feet were cold when we jumped out of that plane. The only thing I remember is feeling like for a second I was like, oh my God, I can't breathe. And I was like, no, you can, you're fine, you're breathing obviously. And I was like, you're right. And then I felt like my freaking lips got blown off my face. That's all I could remember. And then by the time we started when they opened up the parachute and you start to float, which I personally enjoyed that the most, just because it wasn't at all painful like the free fall was. But I couldn't feel anything because I was just so mesmerized at the fact that we were still thousands of feet in the air, like floating down. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm skydiving right now. Like, I'm in the air and I'm like a little tiny ant to my friends who are on the ground looking up at me right now. Like, it was just fucking amazing. So I'm thankful that I couldn't feel any pain besides my lips and my ear getting blown off my head.
It was such a good time. I'm not going to share too much because I want people to have that same virginity popping experience that we had when we did it. So that's all I'm going to leave y'all with. Then I just have to say it was the best experience of my life and I can't wait to do it again.
I know that's right. All right. Well, now we can finally, because so far so good, move into...
I was just going to ask you if you were still recording over there.
So I'm looking. Keep looking over like I'm over my shoulder. But nonetheless, now we can finally move into month in review / look back at it. Queen, I have one. Do you have more than one? You wanna?
At it, girl. Look back at it, girl. I have one, and honestly, truly, this look back at it will be called the Dragon segment.
Okay.
Because I'm about to get to dragging these bitches. That's
okay. Here we go.
But go ahead, Sia. You started off.
Oh, okay. Mine is quick and easy. I simply would like to, unless some other greater title comes along, I would like to name this episode Drake's Hottie Sauce.
Oh, yes! Such a good time. I feel like I probably had that in Expectations or something. But yes! Hot pussy! Yes! Yeah. Let's get into it. What happened, Queen? Who got the hot puss and how?
So some IG model, you know, they saw Drake. Drake saw them. They rendezvoused. They went back to the place. And they did the things that you do. You know what I mean? And Drake, who has in many of songs, apparently, at least 2 from the article I read, has talked about his trials and tribulations with trying to keep from getting trapped by the girls. He puts hot sauce in his used condoms and then I guess ties it off and throws it away into the trash. You know what I'm saying?
Hot sauce as a spermicide. Who knew?
I know, right? Who knew? Not I. And with that being said, the girl goes into the bathroom and first of all, fishes this condom out of the trash can. Let's start there. Gross. As I said in my story a few weeks ago, because we do know this story is a little old, but I had to talk about it on the podcast because it was the funniest fucking thing I have ever heard in my life. Like, when I saw the memes that people made from this, like, I was crying. But I was like, the sheer desperation of fishing something out of the trash can and putting it anywhere near my vagina is a no. Like, I can only imagine this girl's pH because I would never put something that had been in the trash in my vagina. So nonetheless, or near my vagina, I should say, because I'm not going to say she put it in her vagina, but she gets the used condom from the trash can and tries to inseminate herself so she can get pregnant with Drake's sperm. Mm-hmm. However, when he hears screams coming from the bathroom, he rushes in and is, oh, dear God, what's going on? And, of course, finds out that, oh, you tried to impregnate yourself. And he's like, oh, yes, I mean, and I hope it was, because, I was not there, but I hope it was the most nonchalant, what I'm saying, delivery of, oh, yes, I put hot sauce in there because I don't want the girls to do what you're obviously trying to do.
What you're currently trying to do.
And I would just like to say, my first thought was, I was really confused. I was like, he put hot sauce in the condom before he used it? Because I was like, I'm confused. What's going on? But then, of course, I was like, oh, after. Okay, cool. To which I said on my story, which I'll repeat here, that there are so many ways to kill sperm. Drake wanted the offender to scream. He wanted the offender to be in pain. Because hot sauce? And then people were like, the sperm had to have been red. And I was like, baby, that was demon semen. And you still decided to put the demon semen inside yourself so you could give birth to a demon baby.
I will have to say that I do not believe this story happened because, Drizzy, why did you have hot sauce in your bathroom? Don't know. Don't care, but don't know. I don't believe that this story happened. Mm-hmm. But in the event that it did, I hope that sister's vagina is still irritated. I hope that it remains the color of Texas Pete for a lifetime. Because, girl, and I'm not saying I hope that she hurts for a lifetime, but also you were trying to trap somebody for a lifetime for some money, if this did occur, for some money, for a human being, which is crazy to me because I'm like, okay, girls, I get it that some of you want babies and some of you want rich baby daddies and some of you would rather, get it all in one fell swoop, right? Baby and rich baby daddy so that you can have your said baby and not have to have a man truly involved with helping raise it. You can raise it how you want and have the money to do so.
I know that's right.
But this is not only desperate, it's disgusting, and truly,
Indeed.
There's got to be a word for this, because for me, personally, hearing it is giving rape. It's giving rape, rapey, just like it would be rape or a form of rape if you, told a person you only want to have sex with a condom, they put a condom on, and then they snuck it off while they were having sex with you, they snuck the condom off, and proceeded to raw dog you. That's rape to me. So to fish a condom out of a trash can to put the semen in yourself, in my opinion, is a form of rape. You tried to rape Drake if this is what happened, and if this is all true. You tried to rape Drake, and I think that that's disgusting, and you should have to do like criminal time for that. Or something. Right. Because this is disgusting. It's like the most heinous thing I think I've heard in quite some time. You tried to inseminate yourself. This reminds me of The Game. Remember they did that on The Game? The girls were doing the turkey baster things.
I remember it from Being Mary Jane on The Game with Tia.
Mm-hmm. It was I forgot. It was, what were the girls' names? The Saberettes? I don't remember the names, but I remember one of their meetings they were talking about who got pregnant and how they did the turkey baster thing, and somebody was trying to trap Derwin or somebody with the turkey baster. That's why they didn't fuck with girl, because they said that she did that, but she didn't do that. He was actually raw dogging, because you know how those athletes do. They like to raw dog anything moving. So God bless Drake for finally using a condom.
Right.
And he decided, hey, I'm not only am I going to use them, I'm gonna hot sauce them up. I'm gonna hot them up. I'm gonna heat them up. I will be on my lemonade shit. I will keep hot sauce in my bag, swag, and I will burn these pussies up if they try to trap me. The end.
To which I would just like to say, I hope Drake pulls a Candy Burris. Candy Burris loves to take a traumatic situation, such as Portia Williams saying that she was going to take her to her sex dungeon, and then Candy put on a whole sex dungeon tour. So back to wanting this episode to be called Drake's Hottie Sauce, and that is of course referring to Meg Thee Stallion. I want Drake, whether this story is true or untrue, I pray to God in heaven that Drake puts out a hot sauce, whether that be at Popeyes or it's in the grocery store. When I tell you I don't even eat hot sauce, and I would buy that shit just because this story is the best thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. Because, I think part of the reason why I enjoy it so much is because, again, I don't wish bad on people, but like you just said, for you to go out of your way to try to trap somebody who doesn't want a baby or doesn't want a baby by you deserve to burn. And then here's the best part, not in hell, you just burned up here with us.
Yeah.
So
you
congratulations,
right here
Queen.
On Earth. The actual hell you deserve.
Exactly. So I hope the guy he puts out a hot sauce, I will buy the shit out of that.
Gross. Just absolutely gross. Whew, child. Talk about not being able to be a good judge of character, because who in the fuck did you bring back to your hotel or house or apartment or what have you that was out here First of all, you don't have a separate bathroom for your hoes? Well, let's start there, Drake. Because I would be like, hey, baby girl, you signed this NDA. I gave you some of this Jewish meat in my britches. And now you may go down the hall to the girls' bathroom. You may use that one. And I will be over here in my own bathroom. Or if it was a hotel even. Like, I just don't understand how you could... This is why I don't really think it's true. Because I'm like, there's no way you got caught slipping that hard. You already have... the baby mama that you have. So I just feel like you shan't get caught slipping again, Drake. Aubrey,
I don't know if it was
Aubrey,
true or
I don't
not.
know if this is true, but I need you to have separate bathrooms and NDAs in those bathrooms.
I don't know
as toilet paper. They should have to wipe their vagines with the extra copies of the NDA.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw that Drake said that this wasn't true because the girl said she described his penis too, which again, another violation of privacy, but nonetheless, she was describing his penis and said something about him being cut, and Drake was like, see, that's how you know she's lying because I'm not cut. So, and I, as I posted on my story, it just continues to get better because somebody said, I didn't want to know this much about Drake's meat. And I was like, well, welcome to the internet, girl, where we find out a whole bunch of shit we don't want to know. Because you know how many times I done opened up things that I didn't want to hear or see on social media? I feel like this just, if you come here, you know, it's like you got to pay to play. Okay. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I don't know if any of this is true, but if it is, wow. And if it is not, Drake, if you hear this, please give us a hot sauce. I would like it more. No shade to Megan, but I would love a Drake hottie sauce.
Yeah, doesn't he already have a candle that quote unquote smells like him? Could you? It would be a missed marketing opportunity. Truly, Drizzy, truly. I know you're like one of the highest paid artists like of all time right this moment, but please, Drizzy, we need a hot sauce, girl. We just need that, and y'all know I need it because I love hot sauce. I'll take an Aubrey hot sauce.
And we can do it when we recreate, we can use it when we recreate Hot Ones.
Oh, yeah, Hot Ones. Just so y'all know, I'm going to say this now. It is my life's goal. It used to be on the Ellen Show, but you know Ellen is ending or what have you. So it used to be on the Ellen Show. It is now, and the Tyra Show, which is no more. So then it was the Ellen Show, which is going to be no more. So now my greatest life achievement shan't be, an Oscar. Shan't be an Emmy or no. Mm-mm. It shall be being on Hot Ones. What's his name? Sean Evans? We'll be being on Hot Ones. And until we can get there, Sid and I are going to make one of these days. We're going to make one with each other. And we're going to use probably some Gardein nuggets. And we're going to go to work on those nuggies and hot sauce. So, Drake, we're going to need that hot sauce for our Hot Ones episode. Our Hot Ones knockoff episode.
I know that's right. All right, Queen. In that case, take us onward and to look back at it.
All right, so my look back at it is for God's least favorite state, my least favorite state, everyone's least favorite state, and worst place in the world with some of the worst people in the world, and that, of course, is
Florida.
You guessed it, a home of Florida man, which we know is so many people. So Florida this week is on the chopping block because there are two bills in the state legislature, what are words? HB 1557 and SB 1834 state that a school district may not encourage classroom discussion about sexual orientation or gender identity in primary grade levels or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students.
Right.
This bill has been nicknamed the Don't Say Gay Bill by LGBTQIA plus advocates who fear that if this bill is signed into law, it could act as a complete ban on lessons on LGBTQ plus oppression history and discussions about identities. A quote by Melanie Willingham Jaggers, the executive director for the National LGBTQ plus Youth Advocacy Group, says this would erase LGBTQ plus history and culture from lesson plans and sends a chilling message to the young people and communities in that group, where we would like to create an environment where they can feel safe and healthy, and it would not be an effective learning environment if kids do not feel safe and are able to talk about who they are and how they feel, and it prevents them from being healthy. is the quote from the advocacy groups. But Representative Joe Harding, who is the sponsor of the legislation, hopes that this here bill will reinforce the fundamental right of parents to make decisions regarding the upbringing and control of their children. The husband of Pete Buttigieg, the man who was running for president, who was openly gay, his husband, who was an activist, said, quote, "This will kill children," Representative Ron DeSantis, who is the awful person who has presented this here bill. "You are purposefully making your state a harder place for LGBTQ kids to survive in. In a national survey by the Trevor Project, 42% of LGBTQ plus children seriously consider attempting suicide. And now they can't even talk to their teachers." Which is definitely harrowing, to say the least, because I guess there was another article not too long ago that basically said that some parents were suing because there was a teacher who convinced, quote unquote, their child that they were bisexual and non-binary. Which, I feel like as a person with a brain, probably just looked at that article and said, oh, maybe that teacher was just trying to provide the language for what the child was saying that they felt, and not accusing the child of being this person who is bisexual and non-binary. Like, they probably were just trying to give language for what the kid was describing to them, and not trying to convince children all willy-nilly that that's who they were, without the child even, having that kind of inference. But basically, Florida, as always, is hot garbage. Now, the Don't Say Gay bill, of course, that's just a nickname given to the bill by people who are opposed to it, right? But at the end of the day, trying to erase lesson plans that speak about people of queer identities, erase their contributions to history, erase the language of even talking about what it means to be in that community, when these people are very much so real. Some of these kids have parents in that community themselves, so then to be like, but when I get to school, I'm not even allowed to talk about how I am a part of that community, is strange to me, because an orientation or an identity does not have to be sexual, does not have to be about sex or sexuality in itself. And so in my opinion, for Republicans to pretend like somebody's saying that they are queer in some way, being like, oh, well, that's inappropriate because that's, this sex talk that, good old Bible Belt, we shouldn't be having. It's just like, that's not the only factor of a gender identity or performance. So why are we acting like this is so inappropriate to explain to people that there are people who exist who are not, quote unquote, cookie cutter or fit your societal norm? Like, that's not going to be damaging to children to explain to them that these are people that exist, these are people who have affected history, these are people who are advocates and everything else, and change and hellraisers in positive ways, and good trouble, if you will. It's not going to, again, as many of the gays have said, they have seen straight shit their whole life, and that has not made them straight. So people hearing that gay people exist is not going to make them gay. It's not going to make your children gay to hear about gay people in school. Like, what? Like, Florida I just feel like there are so many things your shit state could be focusing on and passing bills and laws for, rather than saying children should not know what gay means.
I know, that's right. I thought of two things as you were, talking about this story. The first thing I thought of was about, like, what Huey P. Newton said about, like, all of these different oppressed people should get together and rally together and fight together. And I thought about how there are people in our community as Black people who just cannot see the similarities between our treatment and the treatment of people in the LGBTQ plus community and other communities, of course. And I just thought about, like, I've said a lot of times on our podcast the importance of representation in schools, right? Like, I think about Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black History Month, who talked about how like, and Malcolm X too, and I'm sure many others who talked about how when it came to Black history at the times when they were alive, that it was laughable in the classroom. Like like their teachers told them there was nothing insignificant about Black history that was worth learning. And I think about how the exclusion of people in our curriculum in school, and not only that, but also not making the study of these people mandatory, does inadvertently or purposefully send the message that these people have not contributed anything important to society, or are not worthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it gives you, you know, it is the first, maybe not the first, but one of the first instances of showing you or teaching you that these people are less than you are, right? Because your history as a white straight person, a white straight man, you know, let's use that as an example, it's not an elective class. It's not left out. It is taught. It is taught over and over and over again, and we're lied to about a lot of things. And so that was the first thing I thought of. And then the second thing I thought of too was, like, I remember Tariq Nasheed, I think, he said, and again, I'm not saying that this is or isn't true, but it just made me think of this, that, like, basically, and it is true, white people are becoming the minority, right? Like, eventually, if the earth is still here, if we're not flooded out from the ice caps melting and whatnot, there will be so much mixing of the different races that white people will be a minority. And Malcolm X wanted us to understand that white people are a minority when we look at it on a global scale, not just in the United States. But and because I thought, like, when you were talking, I was like, damn, it's a chokehold, right? They are trying to put a chokehold on education. They do not want our society become inclusive, going back to what Huey P. Newton said, because the moment we start to realize that across these different things, whether it's age or sex or color or race or class or whatever, right? When we cross these things, we have so much more in common than we do that makes us different. But if we realize that and we band together, then we could really change things. But as long as you can keep us fighting amongst ourselves because of these little differences amongst us that should make the world a more beautiful place, but we found a way to make it a more sadder place, right? It just makes sense. So they're like, no, we cannot talk about this in school. We cannot make people believe that gay people are worthy and real people and have contributed to society, because if we do, then they will start to have respect for each other, and we can't do that. We got to keep them fighting amongst themselves. So yeah, not surprising. Again, going back to what I said about similarities, this is legit the same shit we do to Black people all the time and have been doing to Black people this whole time. And so again, back to my favorite sentence: just insert your who you are right here, whether it's your race, your sex, your gender, your whatever, and then we'll tell you why you are oppressed, right? Like, we just inserted. It's all the same shit. It comes from the same source of hatred and all that stuff. So yeah, not surprising. Quite sad. And hope the girls can do what needs to be done. And I might be the girls. I should be the girls.
So
we should be the girls.
LGBTQ advocacy organizations say that the bills are reminiscent of the no promo homo laws of the 1990s that barred educators from discussing queer topics in schools, but with an added mandate on parent and family involvement. And that particular involvement is that it adds that parent or that teachers who violate this rule can be sued by parents, seeking damages and reimbursement for an attorney fees and court costs for, damaging the children and telling them that gay people exist. And that 2021 was a record-breaking year for anti-LGBTQ plus legislation, according to the Human Rights Campaign, which more than 250 of these bills were introduced, and at least 17 were enacted into law, including several states from Arizona, Alabama, Florida, Indiana, Kentucky, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, and South Dakota have introduced anti-LGBTQ plus legislation in 2022 as well. Which, again, what was the reason? What was the reason? Because what was the reason? Representative Ron DeSantis, I hope that every morning that you wake up, you stump your baby toe hard as fuck and just barely above the pain of a break, just ever so barely. And that the stress fractures occur so often that you incur the biggest bunion anyone has ever seen, and that you won't be able to fit your shoes anymore. Because what a shit person you have to say gay children should not know that they exist, and they should not know that they exist in history, and that if you do exist, you shan't feel comfortable enough to talk about it. And should you have a conversation with your teacher, or your teacher with you, that your parents should sue them. for trying to make sure that there is at least one safe place for your child. Because again, at the rate that LGBTQ queer children, commit suicide or try to commit suicide, you would think that the biggest goal of any human, any parent, any adult would be to make sure that children don't feel so uncomfortable in their own skin that they did not ask to be born into. They didn't ask to be born in their sexuality. They didn't ask to be born in their skin color, their race, their religion, any of those things. They didn't ask for it. And here they are. And that children should be so ashamed. They should go ahead and go hang themselves in their closets. Because we literally get a news article of a story like that damn near weekly. We hear about a child who has killed themselves, hung themselves in the closet, slit their throat, took a bunch of drugs, did all these things, took their parents' gun out and killed themselves because they got bullied at school for their for saying that they're gay or queer, or not even saying it, appearing to be to other kids. And all you're doing is making this an even more and more dangerous place when y'all not even, and we'll get to it, but y'all not even making kids wear masks to school. So clearly y'all do not care about the health and safety of these children, and it is ever so showing each and every time y'all introduce one of these stupid shit laws.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say 2 more things. One, I think it is insane that they wrote into the bill that the teachers can be sued, because if it's anything like North Carolina, teachers already don't make a lot of money, so what the fuck? Thank you.
What do you want to sue me for, Mike? $32? What do you want to sue me for?
So thank you for not protecting our teachers. And lastly, it just made me think about when you said the thing about it being reminiscent of bills in the 1990s. It just reminds me, Angela Davis has this book called Freedom is a Constant Struggle, and just the title alone just has stayed with me ever since I read the book, because it is literally like you have to be vigilant at all times, because again, right, like we've had a pandemic going on, and I remember thinking at some point or another, like, damn, I wonder what the fuck they doing while I'm distracted by trying to not catch the COVID. And it was this is one of the things they were doing, was passing or trying to pass all these anti-LGBTQ bills while I was in the house trying not to catch COVID. So wow, trash. Hate it here.
Well, staying on Governor Ron DeSantis, also this past week, he is pushing a bill that would prohibit public schools and private businesses from making white people feel discomfort when they teach students or train employees about discrimination in the nation's past. Received its first approval on Tuesday. Shout out to Ron, you shit human. He said as of late that the critical race theory was crap, and that he would seek legislation that would allow parents to sue schools and employees to sue employers if they were subject to its teachings.
Wow.
Of course. And so critical race theory, right? It's a way of thinking about America's history through the lens of racism, right? And kind of explains, and honestly, not that well, but explains what systemic racism is and how you don't have to be a racist to enable racism and to uphold a structure that is racist. It doesn't mean that you're walking out every day putting on your KKK hood, girls. It doesn't mean that you're walking around with your Confederate flag and calling everyone you see niggers, okay? That's not what the only part of being a racist. If you are enabling racism, then you're helping uphold what racism is, whether you call yourself a racist or not. So that is what critical race theory is, that everyone is so angry about it being taught in schools, in which case, again, it is barely even taught. So why it's such an uproar about it is confusing to me in the first place, because I don't remember white people ever taking any type of accountability, and I don't know that has changed since I got out of school in my short time that I've been out of school. So with that being said, the bill reads, an individual by virtue of his race or sex does not bear responsibility for actions committed in the past by members of the same race or sex, as an individual should not be made to feel discomfort, guilt, anguish, or any other form of psychological distress on account of his or her race. The bill is called the Individual Freedom Bill, which is funny. For many reasons. But State Representative Shervin Jones has come out and made a comment that says, this bill is not for blacks. This bill was not for any other race. It was directed to make whites not feel bad about what happened years ago. At no point did anyone say that white people should be held responsible for what happened. But what I would ask my white counterparts is that, are you an enabler? Are you an enabler of what happened? Or are you just going to say, basically, we should just talk about history? So basically, are you going to keep enabling what has happened, even if you had nothing to do with it, right? If you're upholding it as it is today, then you might as well, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you might as well have had a hand in slavery itself if you don't mind dismantle, or if you don't want to dismantle what that system looks like today in its racism towards black and brown people. If you're not doing anything to change it and you're enabling it, then you are part of the problem. And Absolutely. He's not saying that just because you're white, you should be made feel guilty. When you walk in a room, everyone should boo, 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 corny, throw tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. Nobody said that, girls. Nobody said that. But me teaching about racism that does exist and systemically exists and how people are upholding it should not be a problem. If anything, it should be applauded because, great, there are problems. There are clearly problems in this country. When asked by Jane Elliott if you want to be treated like a black person in this country, no white people raised their hands. So you clearly know that racism exists in this country. You've witnessed it. If you've never witnessed it before, you definitely witnessed it when Donald Trump started running his big orange ass for president. You've seen it probably more than ever in the past 5 to 10 years. You've seen it more than probably ever in your specific lifetime as maybe a millennial, right? You've probably seen it more than ever because we weren't alive during the 60s and 70s, right? So with that being said, I don't understand why nobody ever wants to take responsibility. If you don't want to take responsibility, the least you could do is start now and start on today to help dismantle the oppressions and the inequalities that go on in our country that literally could be fixed.
We wish.
But if you keep making laws about how oppressed people should not be able to say anything, should not be able to talk, should not be able to be represented in their schools, their teachers shouldn't be able to talk about them, and then couple that with a bill that says also don't make white people feel bad and don't hurt their feelings. While you guys are having teachers run all kinds of lesson plans that have black people laying down during Black History Month and having white students stand on their backs and having mock slave auctions and all that other kind of racist bullshit that always happens. And it seems to always happen in Southern schools every fucking February for Black History Month. And yet, please don't make white people feel guilty in their schools. Okay, girls. Well, if that makes you feel so guilty that you should make a whole law pertaining to your feelings, but you don't care about black students who get abused every fucking day in public schools, and in all schools, I'm sure, but specifically in public because those are the ones I was a part of, then okay, girls. Y'all keep wearing these fucking blinders and this happy utopia lifestyle that white people seem to always get to enjoy. Again, they're heaven on earth, while black people have to sit around on this planet, in this country specifically, and wait to die to get to heaven, while white people get to have it on earth.
I know that's right. Yeah, hate it here.
Yeah, and Florida, go ahead and cut yourselves off the fucking map. We hate it here. We hate it here. You hate the gays. You hate the blacks. Can we please just cut this off, let y'all float into the middle of the ocean and leave your state there. And then y'all do what y'all want to do. Wasn't that the intention? Wasn't that the intention of seceding from the Union? Bye, girls. Bye.
Right. Indeed. Was that another one for a look back at it, or was that your segue?
Yeah, that is the end of my look back at it segment. So, Queen, did you have another one, or should we move on?
Oh, no. We can move on to say what now?
Blank while black.
Oh, to blank while black. Yes. Please carry us forward, Queen, because I do not have one.
Okay, I would try to be quick because y'all know my dragon segment took some time, but you know how it is. Black in America, another day, nothing like it in this sweet, sweet country. So I will try to be quick. There is a sergeant named Christopher Police who is struggling to put a suspect in a patrol car. This officer was white, trying to put a black suspect into a patrol car who allegedly was struggling to do so as the person, I don't know, allegedly resisted arrest. While backup was being called, there was a female cop who has not been named yet, but they ran over when they saw this officer struggling with this person who was handcuffed and already inside the police car because she saw Sergeant Police pull out his pepper spray and yelling at the suspect. Again, suspect was handcuffed and in the police car with, I want to say, 3 other officers, from what I can tell from the video, already standing around the car. So this female officer runs up and tugs, I think it was at the belt or waist of the sergeant who was allegedly attacking the suspect. And Sergeant Police whipped around, grabbed a hold of the female officer's neck, and shoved her against another patrol car and screamed at her. Now, the Sunrise Police Chief, Anthony Rosa, described police, as in the last name of the sergeant, his behavior as disgusting. But what did the chief do, you might ask? Well, of course, Sergeant Police is now on desk duty. But the chief released the video of the female officer, being choked out by her coworker without any audio, and refused to reveal what Sergeant Police had said to the victim or his fellow officer. Of fucking course, because brothers in blue, right? The chief said also that he found it to be inappropriate and unprofessional because what he did escalated the situation when calm was actually required.
Right.
I just want to know why Chief Rosa, why you are tiptoeing and protecting this officer who not only, assaulted or appeared to assault this suspect, because again, the video is kind of hard to see, so I don't want to make a definitive statement, but appears to assault a suspect who is already handcuffed inside of a vehicle and then pulls out pepper spray, which, why would you need that if the person is already handcuffed in a vehicle? Not only do we not know what happened with that, we don't know what was being screamed at this person with, the threat of pepper spray. Then you attack your own coworker, right? And we've all asked, how come in the case of George Floyd did nobody step in? None of the other officers wanted to help out. Y'all all just watched as y'all choked this man out. Like, why did nobody else tackle the other officers? So then when you actually have one officer trying to quote unquote de-escalate a situation, you don't put out the audio, and you might say, oh yeah, that sergeant, he was being unprofesh, so I put him on desk duty. Okay, what about protecting your other officer? What about protecting the person who's about to be pepper sprayed while already handcuffed inside of a car? So this police chief can kiss my whole black rectum. You're an idiot. That sergeant's an idiot. You should both be fired. And this is why I feel so torn, I guess you could say, about black people wanting to be police officers. Because on one hand, I do believe that there are some black people who want to be a police officer to quote unquote change from the inside. But this is a system, and it's going to take more than a officer, a couple officer, a handful of officers on a force to make sure that racism is not happening against their communities. Because clearly, this officer tried to stop what was happening and got choked out by her fellow sergeant, and he's a senior and she's only been on the force for 2.5 years, so she's a new officer. And in the video that I saw, because it was short and again no sound, I didn't even see any of the her other coworkers, the other sergeants, step up to help her and be like, hey bro, what the fuck is your problem? Not only are you abusing this quote unquote suspect who in this country should be innocent until proven guilty, right? Not only are you abusing this person, but you're going to abuse a fellow officer for trying to de-escalate, obviously, a aggressive situation, which is what police officers are supposed to do. I don't know if y'all remember that, but protect and serve. You're supposed to be de-escalating situations and not making them worse. But I didn't even see anybody step up for her. So, a big fuck you to that police department, big fuck you to that chief. And of course, once again, it's in Florida.
Of course, indeed.
So blank while black, don't be a suspect, and don't be existing while someone tries to de-escalate a situation where you're being abused.
Yeah, pretty much. Wow. Okay. And take us right on into Say What Now, Queen. You got one of those?
Say What Now. Do you have one, Queen? So sorry, girls. I know you're so tired of hearing me talk, but I wanted to bring up, and you can add, of course, all your discussion so the good people can hear your voice. I'm only the looks. I can only do so much. Sounds About White, aka Say What Now. This segment is dedicated to a wretched Virginia mother who was at a, school board meeting telling the people that if they vote to mandate masks for the children of the schools.
Oh, I saw this. Oh, man.
That her 42-year-old ass will make sure that her children do not come to school on Monday with a mask. It's not happening. And, quote, I will bring every single gun loaded and ready. I'll see y'all on Monday.
That is wild as fuck.
This bitch later was released on a $5,000 bond. And her apology was to the school board, quote, saying, I in no way meant to imply that all guns loaded meant actual firearms, but rather all the resources I can muster to make sure that my children get to attend school without masks. My sincere apologies for my poor choice in words. End quote.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to know what reads dumbass on the foreheads of all the rest of America that makes you think that we would have to second guess ourselves and say, you know what? I inferred from her comment that when she said, I will bring every single gun loaded and ready, that she meant resources and not gun as in firearms. Except for the fact, bitch, that words mean things and a gun is not in fact a resource, but is in fact a firearm. And your sincere apology while lying is a slap in the face to anyone with 4 total brain cells or more.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she could be released on a bond and not sit under Rikers Island is beyond me, because as I want to say that the Read talked about this, but had this woman been wearing a hijab while making a comment about bringing loaded guns to school, she would have been tackled off the fucking podium, beat to a pulp, and then hung in the nearest town square. But because this fucking white lady, and again, Kyle Rittenhouse and what the statement was that made to America and white America especially, she gets released on her $5,000 bond and gets to write her little school board apology that is looking like it was accepted, is wild. Bitch, I cannot even imagine if I had a child in the same state as this woman, but at the same school as this woman, and she was at a school board meeting talking about bringing loaded guns to school on Monday morning, like your white ass isn't prone to do that already? Bitch, no. You would not have made it away from that microphone. You would have been beat up from the feet up, and that is a promise, girl, because how dare you? In a country that has experienced like 1,000 shootings a year at schools, you think making a comment like that is okay, and then turn around and say, you girls inferred it. I was actually talking about my resources, pens and paper and lawyer friends. Girl, you said guns and you said loaded. What a fucking idiot.
Indeed.
Over wearing a mask. So not only do you want kids to die, you want them to die via virus or bullet. You don't even care which one. What a bitch.
Yeah, that's
what
a wild ass story. I don't think I expected that apology though. Like I thought, because I saw that video, and I think I just was like, damn, that's crazy. That bitch really just said I'm bringing some guns to a school, knowing that we live in America where people really be bringing guns to school. So it is crazy. Like I think I would be, baffled if she could get
this bitch
access
said
to the school.
This bitch said imply. I want to smack the shit out of her for saying imply alone. I in no way meant to imply guns loaded meant firearms, but rather resources? Girl. Wow. The fact that she made it out of that building with 2 of her lungs intact is beyond me. Amazing. amazing.
Yeah. That's some wild ass shit. Like I said, the fact that if she can get access to the school, I would be mind blown, because the way that I would make sure she could never have stepped foot close, even within close proximity, like that privilege should be gone for sure.
It's the fact that on everytown research.org, which is a website dedicated to gun safety. It's the fact that in 2021, there were at least 187 incidents of gunfire on school grounds, which resulted in at least 42 deaths and 113 injuries nationally. It happened that happened in 2021, when almost everybody was like virtually learning. And that still happened because, of course, the states that, sent all the kids back to schools, right? And back to schools with no masks at that. But in 2021, 187 incidents of gunfire on school grounds during a time of pandemic when most schools weren't even in person. And your dumbass makes a comment like that? Girl, no. No, you should be doing federal fucking time. This should not be some slap on the wrist because, girl... Again, words mean things, and implying was not at all what you did. You quite literally said what you did, and then ended your statement with, yeah, girls, see you on Monday. Y'all have lost y'all rabbit-ass minds if y'all don't put this bitch in federal prison. And that's all I have to say about that. She should absolutely have her children taken away. She should not be able to live near any schools. She should not be able to live near anywhere where children breathe and are alive and are thriving, because... she's a terrorist. She's a domestic terrorist, and she should be treated as such and locked away as such. But of course, the way we saw the girls act on the anniversary of January 6th, the attack on the Capitol from quote unquote well-meaning white protesters, we already know that this country don't give a fuck when terroristic white people break laws and make threats. So there's that.
I know that's right. All right. Well, I can finally start talking again.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys excited?
Florida. Fuck Virginia. Fuck all y'all. Anyway. Yeah. So sex expectations. Queen. Wagwan. What's happening?
I actually don't have a question this time. I actually have a statement.
Oh, okay.
I want y'all to lay off my good queen, Miss Good, if you're nasty.
I know that's right.
Because... I don't know why y'all hate black women, but basically this is another incidence of tell me you hate black women without telling me you hate black women. Because what in the I have so many questions.
Child, the girl said that she put down her Bible. She not even a Christian no more, girl.
Exactly.
Ooh,
so
she is shaking a table.
Just in case anyone hasn't heard, Megan Good and her husband, Devon Franklin, came out and announced their divorce a couple weeks ago. I think that they have also said that their divorce was close to being final, or might be final by this point. I have been essentially in another universe for the last 5 days, so I don't know what's going to happen in my absence. But with that being said, just the backlash that I have seen towards Megan Good has just been insane to me. Like... I just don't know, like, whose husband's dick did she suck that makes her such a hoe? Because I heard people, she was just ready to get back to these streets, and they were just pretending to be something that they weren't. And I'm just like, okay, so here's my first thing. Even the parts where Megan Good did play the love interest, where she did play, that girl, if you will, she still wasn't hoish. So, like, even the whole argument of,
she's a hoe because niggas think she's fine. And that...
Basically.
And that alone. You think I'm fine, so you also think I'm a whore.
It has to be, because even the part she's played, because I've heard people go like, oh, Queen Latifah, I knew she was gay when she was in Set It Out because she just played that part way too well. So I'm like, okay, well, even when I look at the parts Megan Good has played, when I think about... I was about to say Baby Boy. My bad. When I think about Roll Bounce, Harlem, I think about, which I know that's a little new, but when I think about Waist Deep, like, yes, she played the love interest. I think about Stomp the Yard. She cheated on her boyfriend, and, she has nice lips, and they always give us a close-up on her lips. But what has she done with those lips that just make y'all say, ho? Then I heard, she will, basically back to these niggas will waste a bitch time. This time it was these bitches will waste a nigga time on the whole she didn't want kids and that's why it's her fault. And I'm just like...
But is that even the reason? Because to my knowledge, neither one of them said why they were divorcing. They just said...
That's number one.
Bye-bye.
But number two, I think people just be talking because I'm like, well, y'all, she froze her eggs. So why would anyone do that who is at least not considering having children at all? Also, again, going just the whole argument of, let's just for argument's sake say that this is true. What kills me about this argument is that nobody wastes your time but you. Because unless she lied, this could be anybody, and said, oh, knowing she didn't want no fucking kids, and said, yes, I want kids, just to marry this man, which we will never know. If she was even on some maybe I will, maybe I won't, like I said, for her to have gone through the process of freezing her eggs, I have never done it myself, but all that in vitro shit, egg freezing shit, it looks like it is uncomfortable as fuck. I have heard, I'm watching a show right now where a lady on the show is going through the process of doing in vitro, and I've seen Being Mary Jane do it. It looks like it takes a toll on your body. Well, I'm sorry, no, I saw Mary Jane try to freeze her eggs. But on this show, the lady has to try to do in vitro, I think 2 times. And yes, there's scripted shows, but I'm going to assume in this case that art is imitating life. It is a toll on your body to get your eggs out and to freeze them. So why would anybody go through that who is just trying to waste a nigga time? Because honestly, if that's what she did, then give sis an Oscar, because she went out above and beyond to trap this man. But with that being said, I just don't know. Megan Good just gives me such good energy. She's always talking about God. I don't know why y'all don't think she's a woman of the church. I once saw Wendy Williams literally in an interview with Megan Good call her a woman of the streets, and I could just, to me, it came off as if she was just very uncomfortable and just tried to laugh it off. But I was just like, again, what has she done? Did I miss something? Like, because she went to a party, because she had a drink? Are y'all the Tyler Perrys of the real world, where y'all like to give y'all black women in your movies AIDS for being sexually explorative or whatever the fuck y'all be saying about Tyler Perry? Do y'all just want to make Megan Good a hoe because she went to a party one time and had a shot? Because I don't understand what the fuck the problem is here. So, to wrap it up, I want y'all to lay off Miss Good if you're nasty, because she has done nothing to you but give you good films and good TV shows.
And if the worst thing she wants to be called, if someone else is nasty, is Miss Good, hello, because mine is mine is Wet and Wild if you're nasty. All she said was call me Miss Good if you're nasty. Like, anywho, fuck these people who just look for the reasons to hate black women. Because what is your problem? Did you not come from a black woman? Did you not get your name from your black woman? Please spare me on all the black woman hate, especially. And I didn't even want to give them shine, and I won't. But I just want to send a quick fuck you shout out to those shitty ass male poor excuses for podcasts where they just spend the whole episode bashing black women and talking about how it's their preference not only to not date black women, but, quote, especially if she's dark, only if she's, maybe a red bone, but even then, I don't prefer black women, and that can't be a bad thing, that can't make me a colorist because my mom is black. Okay. Again, don't want to give them shine because I feel like all the people who are reposting the individuals I'm referring to does nothing but drives up their views and helps them monetize their shit opinions, much like Kevin Samuels. So I won't give those people a shine, but just want to say quick fuck you, y'all. If y'all see those things, first of all, black women, you're beautiful, and we don't need the opinions of those ugly trolls to say otherwise about ourselves. But please don't repost them because they don't deserve. And that's that on that. Fuck everyone who has negative things to say about black women this week, today, yesterday, and anytime ever.
I know that's right. All right, Queen. Well, that is it for my expectations. Do you have something for us?
Yeah, mine is also not a question, just a statement. Want to send love and a literal fuck you to Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet for ruining my chances of my dream threesome with them. Then I thought about Lenny too and was staring at old pictures of him and just thinking about fuck you guys again, but this time literally, you know what I'm saying? Because won't get my fave dream foursome either. I hate this. I hate this for me.
I mean, you still might. They seem like they seem like Will and Jada and Sheree to me. Like, is her name Sheree or Cherie?
I think it's Sheree.
Yeah, sorry if I'm messing your name up. Miss Zampino, I'm sorry. But yes, it's giving that energy, so you might still be able to have your dream.
I hope so, because when I say fuck you, I actually want I want to fuck you. Please, fuck you, fuck me, please. Wow, so sad to hear about their divorce. That one fucked me up. Everyone, with the Megan Good and Devon Franklin thing, they were posting that book, that Worth the Wait thing, and they were like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this now? And I was like, I don't care about their couple gem, because I don't, care. But Lisa and Jason? No, this is too much. No, I said I wouldn't care too much about what celebrities have going on in their personal lives, but this? No, unacceptable. Work it out, girls. Work it out.
I would just like to say, I thought it was so funny because I saw like the caption in the picture. You know how the news outlets do their things. It's like, oh, Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa break up, and I literally in my head was like, I give up, I quit. And then I looked at the caption and it said, "Love is dead," and I was like, yes. This is hilarious, because kind of like how the BET Awards does the thing where they will always go over all the people who have passed that year before the new BET Awards, and I just feel like, and don't get me wrong, mind you, I heard on the streets, Hood reporting, not sure how true it is, that Miguel and Nanzanin have actually gotten back together. But say that to say, without that knowledge, right, I was like, oh my God, so you're telling me Miguel and Nanzanin, then Devon and Megan, and now Jason Momoa and Lisa. And it's not that I was truly invested in them, but I think I love seeing relationships where, like again, going back to like what Aisha said earlier, I'm a big fan of the Smith family. Like, I literally have called them the true royal family on my Instagram page. I don't give a fuck about Megan and Homeboy. That right. I wish them the best. But my royal family is Will and Jada, and right beneath that, not that they're perfect, but my next favorite couple to see is Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. But with that being said, when I saw that Lisa and Jason Momoa were breaking up because of what it looks like from the outside looking in of the relationship between Jason Momoa and, of course, Lisa, but then also Lenny Kravitz and just all of that, I just thought it was just dope. Like, I love to see that. And that's what I think is so crazy, not to go too in depth because I know we need to move on, but that's what I think is so crazy about people putting so much hate on Will and Jada. I'm like, see, y'all are just so used to trauma. You don't know how to comprehend a relationship where a wife and an ex-wife and the children and a husband all get along together. Like, I heard they still vacation together. Oh my God, that's so weird. And it's like, y'all share a child. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like, these people
celebrate Christmas together to this day, which is wild.
Yeah, exactly. And again, wild, right? But again, it's like, in my head, sometimes I'd be like, do we want better for ourselves? Because the fact that y'all are bashing them, again, because they're doing what works for them, that's all that matters, right? But I'm like, there are so many things in their relationship, and I'm like, yo, that is dope. Like, it is dope to see these people getting along for the children, and honestly for yourselves too, right? Because I have seen what tumultuous relationships can be like between different baby mamas, right? So it's like, again, what are y'all saying? So yes, back to Jason and Lisa. Sorry to hear about that. Like I said, I didn't know a lot about their relationship, but I did think they were definitely a beautiful couple. Lisa, like Kira, has a dream team roster. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, because wow.
Shout out to her.
You know what? I won't even let this defeat me. I'll get my threesome. I'll get my foursome.
I know that's right.
This won't defeat me. And you know what? Because I trust my good sis Lisa, I know that if they truly do have this, divorce and they're going to stick beside that, even if they do, I know she'll only pick up another fine ass man. Wow. Her pussy just got to be too good. Like, literally too good.
It's definitely giving Erykah Badu.
She's got something in that thing that just keeps thanging. You know what I'm saying? She just keeps scooping the finest of niggas, which is great. So when I came to LA in 2019 by myself, before I decided to move here, they were the first celebrities I saw. And it was on the red carpet for that Joker movie. And I have it pulled up. September 28th of 2019. I watched them, get out their black SUV and walk down the red carpet together. And I remember literally being like, I could not be more taken aback. Because I don't really feel that way about celebrities. But I was like, I could not be more taken aback if Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter walked past me right now. Because Jason Momoa and Lisa, what? I have had a crush on Lisa Bonet since I could open my eyes. Because the first time I seen The Cosby Show, I knew she was the love of my life. And she is who I wanted to be. Right. And she has just been out here scooping up the fine niggas left and right, and it is the heartbreak for me that I have to experience their divorce, and I want y'all to respect my privacy in this time. Okay, thank you.
Number one, I have two things. One, I think she should put out a vagina candle like the rest of the girls.
Absolutely.
I think that would be a good time for people.
Absolutely.
But then number two, I just think it's crazy because I've seen pictures of her. I have no idea what her voice sounds like anymore because of course it has changed, and the only voice representation I have of her is A Different World, and she's a much older woman, which now means that her voice has changed. And so it's it kind of reminds me of people were like, you know what's crazy, y'all be hating on Lori Harvey, I ain't never even heard that girl's voice. That's how I feel about Lisa Bonet right now.
Lisa speak about anything in quite some time. I don't even know if she's working. I don't even know what her last project is, I'll be honest, but her Forever project is being fine and being regal as fuck to me, and her hair is amazing. She has made beautiful children. She has made beautiful decisions on who to be her baby daddy and husbands. Wow. An icon. A true icon. A living legend. Lisa Bonet, I love you so much. And again, y'all better respect my privacy because I ain't got that kind of time. Y'all better not send me no messages about my future foursome, okay? Thank you so much.
I know that's right. Alrighty, and in that, I don't know. Moving on. Moving on to
y'all, bear with us. It's been a while since we've done a podcast, and you know what? We've done like 64 episodes today, and today alone. So
no, seriously. We were trying to catch up clearly, but moving on to Black on Black support. Queen, I have one. How many do you have?
I have two.
Okay, you want to start, and then I'll go in the middle, and then you go again.
I take a bite. You take a bite. You take a bite. Sure.
Yep.
So we've talked about this company before, and it was when they were introduced to I believe it was an Atlanta high school, and I believe it was when she teamed up with Gunna, maybe. But there is a beautiful woman by the name of Jasmine Crowe, who is the founder of this company called Gooder Company, which helps focus on eliminating food waste and hunger. They work with different companies, businesses, restaurants, etc., to minimize food waste and make sure that gets to people in need, whether that be homeless shelters, schools, living facilities, etc. So what Gooder has done as of recent, if they have opened up a free grocery store for seniors who live in the Lutheran Towers, which I believe is a senior citizen community, but I could be wrong. But either way, they have a grocery store that is open that I believe gives $120 per month to help put food on the table for these seniors. So they just go in and there a lot of seniors on fixed incomes, right? Don't have a lot of money, can't afford to do a lot. So with that being said, she made a way to make sure that these seniors do not go hungry, and they have a free grocery store in their living community where they have this $120 budget, which you can get a lot of stuff for $120, especially if you're, just feeding yourself, because I think it's per person. And I just want to say shout out to Jasmine Crowe, beautiful Black woman who has been doing the damn thing ever since I first heard about the Gooder Company. If y'all don't know what that is, that's GOODRCO, Gooder Co, on Instagram, or check out Jasmine Crowe specifically, and just, keep up to date with what she's doing. Keep your eyes peeled on this queen, because she be doing the good things. Wow. Every time I see an article about her, I'm just impressed by her. I'm proud of her. I aspire, because I just think that she's the dopest woman and has the dopest heart to make sure that kids get food, kids get clothes and shoes if they need it, in those underprivileged schools, and senior citizens aren't going hungry, because they have fixed incomes and things. So shout out to Jasmine, and also eliminating food waste, which is so important. We waste so much food while so many people go hungry. It is absurd. So thank you for Jasmine doing the good work for the people. We appreciate you, queen. All right, Sid, take it away.
Right. Mine is for Issa. I would just like to say more Issa, please. More Issa, please. Please and thank you, more Issa, please. Issa Rae has signed a 5-year deal, a $40 million deal, that puts her company, Who Ray Media, in partnership with Warner Media. So, she now, HBO Max, and Warner Media now have exclusive rights to her TV work, and there's also a first look film deal. And I just want to say, Miss Issa, if you are listening to this, we love you dearly. I love the things you create dearly, but please, ma'am, within this, could you please have more of you on screen? Because, like I said, I love Issa's things, but the amount of times I have had to rewatch Lovebirds because it's the only movie of Issa that I have. Because sometimes I want to see Issa, but I don't necessarily want to watch Insecure. It's absurd because the number of times I watched it is absurd, but meaning I need more Issa Rae movies, please and thank you, because I just seeing her, like I remember like watching The Photograph, which I did not like the first time I saw it, but I definitely like it now that I've watched it like a couple, like I think I maybe watched, I think by the second time I watched, I liked it more, and then by the third time I'm like, you know what, it is giving new age Love Jones vibes, because it's a very smooth film, if you will. But say that to say, as soon as she walks on my screen, I'm instantly smiling. I'm instantly happy to see this brown skinned girl, this very talented woman who came from YouTube and has done just amazing things and just seems to have just such a dope spirit. She just seems to be like so much fun to be around. So to say that to say, it's like her energy is transferred to me as soon as I see her on screen. So Issa, congratulations on your 5-year, $40 million deal with HBO and Warner Media and their networks and things. But please, ma'am, more Issa, please. More Issa, please. And that is all I have for the girls.
Well, my last one is a shout out to our city, Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City, if you will. There is a coffee shop called Brad's Coffee Bar. Yep. Brad's Coffee Bar. You can find it on Instagram, Black-owned coffee bar. It is on North Sharon Amity Road. So that is 5800 North Sharon Amity Road, Suite C, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a coffee bar that has smoothies, juices. I believe they have some sandwiches and stuff. Also, they have things like cake and cheesecake, you know, little snacks, cappuccino, tea, lemonade, fraps, if you will. Also, I've seen that they've done cute little events there, like a paint and sip. Again, Black-owned coffee bar in Charlotte, North Carolina. And that is not the all of it, people. There is a young lady named, or her @ name is @the_youth_messenger. She calls herself the Charlotte Princess. And she is 15 years old, and she is helping run that coffee bar. I don't know her relation to the gentleman named Brad or whoever that is, but she is running that coffee bar, and she is in there working, slanging drinks, slanging coffee and the things. So if you're in Charlotte, even if you're not, if you're in the surrounding area, if you happen to visit Charlotte, please go check out Brad's Coffee Bar. That's where you can find them on Instagram, and check out the Youth Messenger and see what the good people of Charlotte are doing. You know, we stand a Black-owned thing. So next time I'm in Charlotte, I definitely got to check it out. I do love coffee, so I'm going to have to go see what it do. But yeah, shout out to y'all. Right. And that is my Black on Black support.
All right. Does a book of the month come up right here?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. In that case, guys, one of the things Aisha and I did while we were in El Paso is I was lucky enough, again, I think she mentioned it already, but we've also recorded this episode like 18 times. So I don't know if she said it on this one or a previous recording that didn't make it to the airwaves. Yes. But one of the things that I truly enjoyed, and one of the things I was very happy to have been intentional about, was wanting to have Aisha all to myself one day of the trip, and then for half the day the last day we were there, but and on that first day that we were together, we talked about Will, which we had been reading throughout January and finished up right before we went on the trip. I actually finished up like 3 or 4 chapters on the plane on the way there. But we got a chance to talk about it. We both thoroughly enjoyed it, so I wanted to bring it up for book of the month, just to talk to y'all about it a little bit. I want to ask you, Queen, what your favorite part of the book was. I'm just real quick gonna say, or maybe favorite parts if you can't narrow it down. Right. But one of my favorite takeaway lessons was the story in the very beginning about just laying one brick at a time, because some things that we want to do sometimes feel so insurmountable, whether that's losing weight or gaining weight or starting a business, or I even remember you talking about the name change process, right? Like, and just focusing on one thing at a time. Like, instead of me with my weight gain journey trying to be like, okay, over the next 8 weeks I need to gain this many pounds, and that means it's like just one meal at a time. It just seems so much less insurmountable when you focus on what you can just do right now and how those things add up over time. So essentially the story is that his dad told him and his brother to build a wall, and Will is just like, bro, we're never gonna finish this wall. They were talking about working on it day in and day out, and just
for a year, every single day, rain, sleet, or snow.
yes. And he's just like, we're never going to finish it. And his dad was like, stop focusing on the wall. You focus on this one brick. And then he was like, yeah. And then I realized like I could lay one brick really well. And if I just focus on laying that one brick at a time and doing it really, really well. And the next thing he knew, there was a wall, right? And so he carried that with him for the rest of his life, like that lesson. And I just thought it was super dope. And there are so many things in the book, but I just felt like he just got discipline from his dad, if nowhere else. And that's just one of the major takeaways of the things that he did get from his dad. And it just, I feel like, worked so well in forming who he was as a child that it transpired. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It flowed over into the other aspects of who he became as an adult. So that was one of my favorite things from the book. Queen, what was your favorite thing or favorite things from the book?
Well, I will speak to bring this back around to what we talked about earlier, to Will's idea of what fear is and what it looks like to have courage, what it looks like to basically, when you have fear, it's not to say that you're some coward because you have fear, but your courage comes from when you have that fear and you do it anyway. And and I don't want to misquote it, but I'll just say how I remember it. Will said something to the effect of everything worth having, and I think he said he got this from his grandmother, but basically everything worth having, everything worth experiencing, every good thing in life is on the opposite side of fear, and you kind of have to go through it if you want to experience that great thing. And that's something that he also said, I think, on one of his skydiving videos. Basically just, you got to push through fear. You want to get to something great. You want to have that nirvana. You want to see the world from a bird's eye view, literally. You want to see something above the clouds. You want to look down on earth beautifully. Then you're going to have to get through that fear of jumping out of the edge of a plane on purpose. And taking that lesson through every day in your life. There's so many things to be scared of. I mean, literally everything, right? We have no idea what's coming next. We just lived through 2 years of a pandemic. We have no idea what's next. But if we stay in this fear bubble, we're not going to accomplish anything. Like if Sydney stayed too scared to get on a plane, right, then she wouldn't have that birthday trip that means so much to her. And to spend that time with your friends, if we just stayed in fear of what could happen, or if we could get sick, or if we could get hurt, or if a plane could crash, right? Like every good and beautiful thing worth having and experiencing is going to be on the other side of fear. And if you just live in the safety and comfort of your little bubble, you're not going to experience much of life. And then what is the point? What's the point of being here?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
if not to reach for the beautiful things in life, what's the point? So that is a strong message that I got out of the book. So if you haven't checked out Will, if you're not a big reader, he has an audiobook that he actually narrates himself, which I have heard is a very good time. I have it, but I haven't started it, but I have heard it is a great time. So if you're not really a reader, maybe when you're at the gym or you're driving, you can put on the audiobook and listen to it, because it is a great book with great takeaways. And Will is one of my favorite artists and creatives of all time, pretty much of any media, as far as being an artist, being a musician, being an actor, etc. Like, I just think he's just one of the greatest people to be on this planet. So love Will, love the book. Hope that you guys love it if you've already started it, or get it so you can start loving it and do something that's on the opposite side of that fear, and do something every day to tackle part of a larger picture, or part of a goal that you have. Don't get daunted by looking at the whole thing. Take it one step at a time. My dad used to say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So there you go. I
know that's right. Yes, absolutely. It was super great. As Aisha said, definitely give it a try, whether that's reading the physical copy or checking out the audiobook. Our close friend Kalia said it's the best, one of the best audiobooks she's ever heard. So if you're not into the things, like Aisha said, definitely give the audiobook a try. I also want to, and even though I'm not into audiobooks, but when somebody says something is that brilliant or that good, I definitely am willing to give it a try.
Right.
So.
Also same, that's why I got it, because Kalia was raving about how good it was. So I can't wait to hear it.
Indeed. And in that case, guys, we're going to move right on into mental health check-in.
I think I'll just say that my mental health and affirmation was wrapped up in what I got out of the Will Smith book. So.
Okay. All right. Love that. My mental health check-in was to recommend, if you guys have never tried it before, to do gratitude journaling. You can, of course, get a whole journal if you want and just do your gratitude journaling in that. Or I know with myself personally, because I always be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to start when I go get a new journal. Like I saw this journal at at Target that I really liked. There's like a texture on the outside, like on the cover, I mean, that I really like, that's got the same kind of texture of the journal I have now that I'm finishing up now. I finally, after all these years. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go get that now, gratitude journal and that. But what I've actually decided to do is just write it in the journal I already have, the journals I already have, just to save on, things, material things, save money because I will be paying off my birthday trip for a little while. But with that being said, I've just read about how much happiness, gratitude journaling can bring you, right? And I think because I use this app now, and I think recently a quote came on when you first open the app. It's a meditation app. They give you different quotes, and I think one of them was basically a happy life starts with gratitude, or maybe it was in a song. I could be wrong, but anyway, I just wanted to recommend that to you guys. For me, it's as simple as just taking a moment in the morning to write down what it is I'm grateful for, or maybe you could do it when you just are having a moment where you're feeling down, or maybe you could do it midday or at the end of the day, whenever you just need that reminder of something to bring you back to that state of happiness, that state of peace. I just wanted to throw that out there because it has brought me some joy, some happiness. It is always a good reminder to remember the things that I'm grateful for in the middle of the day or at the beginning of the day or whenever. So that is my mental health check-in. And I know, Aisha, you said that yours was your Will Smith thing, so I guess I can move straight into affirmations now.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, and lastly, my affirmation is live, L-I-V-E, all capital letters, your Y-O-U-R, all capital letters, life, L-I-F-E, all capital letters. I told y'all I am still on a high from my birthday trip. I had just got to do so many things that I love. And maybe even if not live your life, then just be intentional. I just have noticed at the times where I have tried to be very intentional about who I'm with and where I am and what I'm doing, I have just truly lived my best life. And then I think this birthday trip was very emblematic of that. And so, but somewhere between living your life and being intentional, that is my affirmation for this week. Thank y'all for joining us again. We are happy to have you in the living room post-vacay. We have to go unpack our bags and things now that we are home and in our living room. We love y'all. Happy New Year. Because I consider my birthday to be another New Year right after the New Year. So happy Sydney New Year.
Oh, no, that's right. Happy Sydney New Year.
I love you all. Aisha, thanks for being the greatest co-host, greatest best friend of all time. And I have been Sid the Great.
That's right. I am Aisha Damali. Thank y'all so much for coming back on into the living room, episode 52. Shout out to all the bad bitches worldwide. If you get some 4440 tats, if you got some merch, if you got a candle, if you got a card from us, a sticker from us, make sure y'all are sharing that. Share it whenever you listen to our episodes. We really appreciate it. It literally lights up my day when y'all tag us. We're so grateful for our listeners, for our roommates. Y'all are the greatest. Y'all are the goats. With that being said, ladies, please don't try to trap these niggas. They're literally not even worth it. Keep that hot sauce out of your pussies, and we'll see y'all next week. Thanks, y'all. Bye. Here's Invitation by Amber Hairston. I don't wanna rush the invitation, but I wanna race you to my love. I won't take you in moderation. I wanna say yes to my drug, but I don't need no addiction. Don't need no addiction, but I don't need no addiction. Don't need no addiction. Would it be beautiful if you were here to love me? Oh, I can say, boy, the thought of you makes me feel the way that I do. I know that this could be something real, but I need patience. You're the apple of my eye, the center of my attention. I wanna give it all away to you. You know I want you here beside me. I'm in a battle with my conscience. Why am I this way?